Okay, so what I have here is more or less like, apart from myself, that I'm on it twice, you are only 18. So I don't know if you can tell your other colleagues to join. And how do we do the recording? Because okay, they are supposed to do for us. Okay, so I believe that we met when you were in level 200. If I'm not the one who taught you the general psychology and also employee staffing, I think one of them I was the one who took you through.
Yeah. So, sir, please, those of us at Lasidi Center, you handle this for general psychology and then employee staffing. But for the others, I don't know if they experienced you or not.
Oh, okay. So we meet again, and what I have, I think I want to know the various centers. What I have, let me open it and see. I think for the first lecture, we will not even use much time. So if Lashibi is here, you have Lashibi here, you are supposed to be 14 in number.
Okay,
Lashibi.
so sir, Lasidi,
Okay.
we've increased, sir. We are now 18.
Instead of the 14, you are now 18.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Then WA, do you have anyone from WA here, please?
Yes, sir.
And you are supposed to be 4. So I don't know if you are 4.
I'm here, but I didn't take note of the other people.
Are they aware of this particular class?
Sir, I'm not. I don't know, sir, because I'm not home. I travel. I'm not anywhere.
Okay, so kindly notify them if you have their numbers. Then we have Wenchi. Wenchi people, are you here?
Yes, Wenchi, yes, sir.
You are supposed to be 12. So kindly find out. So as we've begun.
Yeah, we are 17 in number now currently.
Okay, that's okay. So just as we did for the last previous meetings, try and compile your list. So just as I'm mentioning your number, try and compile your list in terms of your name and your index numbers, so that at the end of the study or the discussion, we will have to group you to various numbers so that you can present. Because the fifth and sixth week is for you to present, and also allocation of marks. So right from today, try and compile your list from various centers. Then Ghana's also, you are supposed to be 10. Do you have anyone from Ghana's?
Yes.
And you are supposed to be 10. I don't know if your number is more than 10. So what I have here is 10. I think Lashibi and Wenchi, they said their numbers are more than what is here. Then STU, you are supposed to be 9 per the list given me. Do you have anyone from STU here? Oh, do you have anyone from STU here? What about Fafraha?
Yes.
Okay, you are supposed to be 9 here. You're supposed to be 9 here. So start to compile your list. I'll try and get in touch with anyone from STU. Esther, your hand is up. Esther, your hand is up. Okay, so today, what we are going to look at is the concept of job performance, the concept of job performance. And I believe that each of us here know what, when we talk about job performance, it is. So before we start, I want your view of what we mean by job performance. Because one way or the other, we've heard it or we work, so we know what job performance is. So what does job performance mean? If you know, you show by hand and I call your name. So how do you understand job performance? I need your view first to know how you understand it before we can proceed. Raymond.
Yes, sir. Okay, so with my view, okay, so job performance has to do with the individual's ability to produce or how they perform on a job. So let's say their production or the output on a job site.
Okay. Go again. Yes, Doreen.
Yes, sir. Please, job performance refers to how well an employee um, input their responsibilities to attain a better outcome.
How an employee inputs their responsibilities. Okay. So basically, when we talk about job performance, it just has to do with the contribution of employees towards the accomplishment of organizational goals. The contribution, that is what basically job performance is. So whichever definition or description that you see, the bottom line is that job performance is the contribution of employees towards the accomplishment of an organizational goal. So let's look at an overview of it. And here we see that we need to find what first is before we look at the job performance. And what we have here is that a job is a piece of work or a specified task done as part of a routine of one's occupation for an agreed remuneration or compensation. So a piece of work or task that one does routinely for compensation is job. The job performance concept becomes very important because the individual roles they perform can drive an organization and by extension the entire economy. So what we mean by job performance here is that the things that employee actually do and action they take, which really contribute to the organizational goals and objectives. So the things that the employees actually do or their actions that contribute to the organization. So that is why I was saying that they are the contributions employees make in an organization to help achieve their goals and objectives. So that is basically what the job performance is. And as it says, in order to successfully perform one's job, individual employees or individuals have to display right behavior and attitude so as to reach desired goals. So what it's saying is that for the organization to achieve results, the organization needs individuals or the employees to display attitudes or behaviors that are right. As we go ahead, we will look at some types of job performance and you know which one or behaviors that are described not being right or wrong. So the basic idea, the overview is telling us is that we should first understand what a job is. And for a job, we move on to the performance of it. Then also, right behaviors should be exhibited in order for the organization to achieve its goal. So that is basically also with respect to the job performance. Now, it can also be explained as the total expected value or contribution to an organization. So it is explained as the total expected value or contribution to an organization of the distinct behavioral occurrence that an individual carries over a period of time. So this one is giving a time limit of performance. So for instance, in a sales organization, you are given maybe quarter of the year to do something. So what you do at the end of that quarter becomes your performance. So you are going to be judged based on that period, what you did. So all these explanations and definitions are just telling us that what workers or employees actually do is what we refer to as a job performance. And to maintain and sustain competitive advantage, organization needs employees who are good with the job they perform and are highly committed to their work and goals of the organization. Now, we normally say that arguably, employees are the most valuable or important asset in the organization. And that is what gives organizations competitive advantage. And I believe when we say competitive advantage, you have an idea of what it is. Competitive advantage. I hope you know what it is. Hello, class. If you know, you can put your hand up so that we try and link it to what we are doing. What does competitive advantage mean? Okay, so with competitive advantage, you realize that once a business is in an industry, it has some competitors. And probably it could be in terms of pricing. Could be in terms of pricing, because one of the organizations in the industry has economies of scale, may have advantage over the others. Sometimes it may be the raw materials the person has or the organization has. So if the organization has a lot of raw materials or has cheaper raw materials, it affects how it prices its products or services. So in this case, they may have advantage over others. So that is a competitive advantage. Sometimes too, it's not about all these things, it's about the workers that they have in the organization. And if an organization has a machine that is making it perform better, another organization, once they have the capacity to buy, they can buy that same thing and now compete with you. But when we talk about employees giving competitive advantage, knowledge is something that you cannot take out for somebody. You cannot copy it. You cannot imitate. So that is why employees are most valuable assets in an organization, arguably, because some will say that, why is it that I'm going to purchase a technology or a machine worth 500,000 Ghana cedis or 1 million Ghana cedis, and you tell me that the employee. So now we don't go outright or categorical like that. So we say arguably. But indeed, all other assets of an organization will lie idle until the employees or the human side activate it. So it is the employees that make an organization a competitive or gain competitive advantage. And to sustain them also relies on these employees. So when we talk about employee performance, the employee must perform before the organization at large can also be performed. And as we move on, we will look at performance management, where you see that performance management will look at the individual performance, how departments are performing, and how the organization as a whole. So it is the employee performance that translates to the organizational performance. So for an organization to maintain and sustain its advantage over others, it needs employees who are good to perform and are also highly committed. Now, another way of describing job performance is that it is also deemed to be the fulfillment of obligation. Somebody said that how someone inputs its responsibility. So that becomes your obligation. Once you have been given an obligation to do and you fulfill that becomes your job performance. So once you have been given that responsibility and obligation and you perform that, it releases you from all liability because you are liable to do the thing and you have been able to perform that, and that becomes your job performance. So it can also be explained as you fulfilling your obligation in an organization, especially when you are in groups, and you perform your part, you have what? Undertaking or perform what you call the job performance. And that can also be used to describe that. Now, there are some factors in an employee performance that must be considered. When you say an employee has performed, what are some of the factors that you must look at when we say we have contributed, we say we have fulfilled our responsibility? The first one has to do with the quality of work. The quality of work. It depends on where you work. Probably if it's a service organization, the quality of it. The quantity of work, sometimes you may be measured by the quantity of sales that you make. That is also used to know whether you really perform well or not. Your knowledge you have on the work is also part. Your working relationship is also part of your job performance. As we move on, we look at some theories of job performance. And out of the theories, people come with idea of how performance is being measured and your ability to successfully achieve that desired goal. So these are some of the factors. It doesn't mean that in all job performance, these qualities must be seen in a job performance. It depends on the work you do. It depends on the work you do that probably you measured against quality or quantity, knowledge, your relationship, and also how successful you were able to achieve that result. Okay, so that is the job performance. Any question before we continue? Any question with the overview? What constitutes job performance? Any question?
Sir, we are okay, please.
Okay, now when we talk about job performance, looking at the factors that were given to us that we should consider, some of these factors can or form as dimension of job performance. So when we say employee has performed, it comes in three different kinds. It comes in three different kinds. And we have what we call task performance behavior, citizenship performance behavior, and counterproductive performance behavior. These are the three main dimensions of job performance. Now, when we take the first one, task performance behavior, whenever you were given or you applied for a job, the job description that is given to you, or the advertisement you saw, the job description you saw as part of the advertisement, that becomes your task performance. What you actually do to contribute to the organization's growth is what we refer to as the task performance. So when you go to an organization and they tell you that this is what you are supposed to do, it is on that basis that you are compensated on. Task performance behavior is what you must achieve in order to be compensated on. So it is what is on your job description, and every job has a job description, and therefore you will be paid on the basis of that job description. You'll be paid on the basis of that job description. So we will look more into the job description. Sorry, the tax performance. Now, we also have the citizenship performance behavior. And with the citizenship performance behavior, when one goes beyond the tax that has been given to him or her and assist co-workers or the organization. So you have been given tax, for instance. By 3, you were done with the tax that you were supposed to do, but your work closes at, let's say, 4:30. But you could see a colleague not being able to complete the task, and you help that person. That is a typical example of a citizenship performance. Now, this is not the basis where you are going to be paid. Your payment depends on the task that have been given to you that you perform. Now, you going beyond that, assist the organization and also your co-workers or individuals in the organization. That is when we say you are exhibiting citizenship performance behavior. Now, when you are outside your organization, even the defense you give to the organization, the good name you give to the organization, are all part of the citizenship performance behavior. So that is another dimension. Then we also have the third dimension, which is counterproductive behavior. Counterproductive behavior. And just as the name is, if something is productive and we say counterproductive, it means that these are behaviors or actions that rather goes against the organization. That's why it is counterproductive. It goes against the organization. So these are the 3 dimensions of job performance: the tax performance, the citizenship performance, and the counterproductive performance behavior. So it is the third one or the last one that is not required by the organization. And there are so many things that we do when we are performing or behaving in that counterproductive. Now let's look at the tax performance in details. As the effectiveness is defined as the effectiveness with which job incumbents or employees perform activities that contribute to the organization's fundamental business. So you realize that the term is fundamental business. Fundamental. That is what you are supposed to do as a worker. Do the task that has been assigned to you. So that is what we call the tax performance. It is the employee behaviors that are directly involved in the transformation of resources into goods and services that the organization produces. So that is what the tax performance is. Now, to be able to perform your tax performance, the employee is expected. The employee, as it says, tax performance involves an employee doing just what is expected of him or her and nothing more. So that is why we say it is a job description that is given to you. It is a job description that is given to you. So it is what is expected of you. For you to help another, we don't expect, or that is not mandatory for you to do. But what is mandatory to you is what has been given to you to do. That becomes the tax performance. Now, in order for you to say one is performing his or her tax performance also, tax performance has also been classified or categorized into three, namely routine tax performance, adaptive tax performance, and creative tax performance. Just as the name is, routine tax performance. Every day when you come to work, if your job is filing, That is what you do every day. It is routine. Nothing changes with respect to your work. That is what a routine tax performance. So Monday to Friday, you do the same thing. If you count money, if you're a teller, for instance, at a bank, what you do as part of tellering is routine, because every day you receive and give out cash to customers. So it is a routine tax performance, what you do on regular basis. Then the adaptive tax performance, just as the name is, sometimes along the line we performing our routine tax, we may be faced with slight changes with what we do, especially when we were hit by COVID-19. Now we teach on face-to-face basis. Now, when we were hit by COVID-19, now it became the law was that it is prohibited to meet in person. So we have to meet online. It changed how teaching or lecturing should be. So that is the adaptive performance. So we say one has performed an adaptive performance when the person faced a novel situation as part of the tax performance and was able to adjust to such novelty with respect to the work the person does. So that is the adaptive performance. Then we look at the last part of the tax performance, which is creative. Creative here is synonymous to the adaptive. The adaptive is that you were faced with changes to perform the same task and you adapted to. Now, creative is more or less like bringing new something. In this case, you were not faced with any challenge, but you have been able to come out with a new way of doing that same tax performance. Even though it has not changed, how you do the tax has not changed. You are trying to bring something new to be used to perform the tax. So these are the three categories or classifications of the tax performance. So just as we have here, this is a well-known response to demands of work. So that is why I said it is regularly, it is predictable, and it is anticipated. So that is the routine tax. So an example is a flight attendant giving safety information to participants on the plane. So anytime you board the plane, this flight attendant will come and pass out such information, safety information to them. That is a routine. Now, with adaptive, it says that this involves employees to respond to tax demands that are novel, that are unusual. So you are faced with unusual things. So for example, when a flight attendant who has to do an emergency evacuation, so this action rarely occurs. So at that time, you need to adapt to the situation to get the job done. So that is adaptive tax performance. Then we have the creative tax performance, where the individual develops an idea or outcome that are both unique and useful. So if that attendant comes up with an idea about more efficient and effective passenger boarding process, so being innovative. So when you are also innovative with respect to your tax, that is when we say you are performing the creative tax performance. So these are the categories of tax performance: the routine, the adaptive, and the creative performance. But in all, understand that what is expected of you to do as a worker or an employee is what we call it the tax performance. Is what we call it the tax performance. So even though it is creative, it is adaptive, and it is routine, that is what you are supposed to do. That is what is expected of you to do. Some may change, some may not change, and at some point you need to be innovative. Now let's look at the third category of job performance itself. The second one is citizenship performance, as I explained earlier. Behaviors or these behaviors are relevant, needed in any form of work, and contribute to building positive organizational environment. So when employees act in a citizenship manner, it brings about positive organizational environment when we provide assistance to fellow workers, colleagues. It creates that harmonious work environment, which is the positive environment. So citizenship performance is the voluntary positive employee actions that may or may not be rewarded, but contribute to the good of the organization. So just as I was saying about tax performance, that it is that performance that you are going to be paid. Your pay is tied to your tax. But the citizenship, whether you help the person or not, you may choose to do any of them. And the fact that you help others and you leave your own tax, you think that you're going to be rewarded. No. So sometimes the organization, to boost your morale to continue such positive behavior, you may be rewarded. So all that we need to know is that the citizenship performance has to do with those performance behaviors or actions that contribute to the good of the organization, of which you may be rewarded or not. And it goes ahead to say that these behaviors go beyond the tax performance and the technical proficiency of the employee. So you going beyond your tax performance to help the organization or to help a fellow worker or individual is what we refer to as the citizenship. And just like the tax performance that we had these three categories, we also have two categories when we talk about the citizenship. You providing assistance to co-workers or to the organization. So if it is to co-workers, we call it interpersonal. If it is to the organization, we call it organizational citizenship performance. So let's first look at the interpersonal. These behaviors, or these are behaviors that the employee exhibits that is beneficial to colleagues, co-workers, and other members of the organization, that go beyond the normal expectation of one's job. Now, the normal expectation of one's job is a tax. Is a tax. So when you provide assistance or you exhibit behaviors that benefit your co-workers and other members, we say you are exhibiting interpersonal citizenship performance. So an example given here, you helping another co-worker with their workload. You helping a co-worker with their workloads. Displaying courtesy at all times. Maintaining a good attitude even in irritating situation. When a customer provokes you, you are composed and still exhibit good attitude. These are interpersonal, or if your co-worker exhibits such behaviors to you that are provocative, you maintaining composure and steeze and act in a good manner, are all interpersonal citizenship performance. Then, as I said earlier, when those behaviors benefit the organization, we term it as organizational citizenship performance. So when you see your model, you realize that in talking about the theories of performance, job performance, that is what they came out to describe as part of some of the theories. An example is representing the organization in a positive way, even when outside the office or in the public. So those of you who say bad things about University of Cape Coast, you are a student, so exhibit organizational citizenship performance behavior. So in doing so, that is what we term as the organizational citizenship behavior. Then we look at the counterproductive. As I said, you going or doing something against the organization. Your behavior is not bringing about a better job performance, but you are rather declining or undermining the organization's performance. So these are behaviors that employee exhibits, and it undermines the goal or the interest of the organization. And such behaviors are unacceptable. We are going to know some of the behaviors. Such behaviors are unacceptable. And it is unacceptable because the consequences of such behavior can have a negative image or reputation on the organization. These behaviors are not accidental, but it's always conscious and mischievous, as it is saying. So a typical example is theft. You stealing properties of the organization and use them in your various houses. That is a counterproductive behavior. Bullying a co-worker, a supervisor, bullying a subordinate is a counterproductive behavior. Sabotaging, because you were not, or because you want to be chosen for a particular task or promotion is near, and you start to sabotage a fellow worker, say wrong things about a fellow worker, get into the head of the leader that such a person is not being promoted. These are counterproductive behavior. An organization that engages in hostile environment, that is sexual harassment, whether it's a quid pro quo or a hostile environment, it is also a counterproductive behavior. A lot of examples of behaviors that we can classify under the counterproductive. So what you need to understand is that when we talk about the counterproductive, these are behaviors that challenge or undermines the overall interest of the organization. And likewise, we have some categories of counterproductive, which are four. One, production deviance. Production deviance. Such behaviors are directed against the organization in order to reduce efficiency of the output of work. Instead of you to be active in production, you lazy around to reduce the efficiency. Maybe you are supposed to produce 100 pieces in 1 hour, and you deliberately slow down in order to just come out with 50 outputs within the hour. That is a production deviance. So sometimes production deviance is revealed when employees decide to waste resource, whether material or time. So time is also a resource. So you just waste time. That is a counterproductive behavior. Example, employees not being punctual, habitually late to work, working extremely slowly, taking too many breaks, cyber loafing. Instead of you to work, then you pick your phone, attend to a customer, you pick your phone. You are slowing down production. That is what? A production deviance. At the end, I'll ask you, what type of performer are you? Then we have property deviance. Property deviance. And with property deviance, just as I said, or we saw, it represents behaviors that also harm the organization's assets or possessions. Property deviance. You deliberately destroying organization's property, stealing, the theft that we saw as an example of counterproductive. Stealing is also part of property deviance. And the destroying is seen here as the vandalism. You just destroying organization's property. That is a property deviance. So example we have here, falsifying your attendance book, misusing monies belonging to the organization for yourself, unauthorized use of the company's property. Unauthorized use of the company's property. So these are behaviors that are counterproductive. Then we also have political deviance. Political deviance. And you know, we have a concept called organizational politics. Organizational politics, where politics has to do with interest. So just as we all know about MPP NDC, when MPP is doing something, deliberately NDC will have something wrong to say. When NDC is also doing something good, MPP will have something to say. In an organization, it exists. Sometimes people of the same interest will form group. People of the same interest will form group, and when the other party, which does not buy into their interest or idea, are doing something, they try to sabotage them, talk negative about them, gossip about them. Sometimes they want to have access to a particular resource of which you know you can give them, but you will not do because of your interest. So that is a political deviance. These are potentially harmful and damaging behaviors people put up to disrupt important organizational norms and deliberately disadvantage other employees in the organization. And we have example here. It's employees peddling hateful and humiliating stories to other employees, using defamatory falsehood about others, displaying rude behavior and disrespecting others, are all part of what? Political deviance. It has to do with your interest because you are not part of that group. Then personal aggression. Personal aggression, whether physically or verbal, shouting at a colleague at the workplace, fighting. These are all personal or counterproductive behaviors. So these are some of the categories of the counterproductive behavior. So now the question is, what kind of job performer are you? So each of you is going to tell us. You have ample time. The slides are just 20. So each of you will tell us which type of performer are you and why do you think you are that type of performer. So I can see Joanna, Anani. Joanna, what type of performer are you? Joanna. Oh, so should I mark Joanna absent? Abigail. Abigail Kumi. Abigail Kumi. Oh.
Hello, sir.
Hey, Joanna.
Sir.
Where were you?
So I'll see about my network was messing up.
So you didn't hear what we said?
I heard like it was on and off. I heard some.
So when you go to what type of performer are you and it stopped?
Oh no, like I was trying, but it wasn't working. I think you were not hearing me because when you were talking, I was responding.
Okay, so can you tell us what kind of performer are you? Since or having discussed what job performance is, the types of or dimensions of job performance, and under each dimension we have some categories. So what type of performer are you?
Okay. So sir, I think I'll be under the citizenship performer.
You'll be under the citizenship performance.
Yes, please. Because especially with the first one, the interpersonal
Citizenship performance. Okay.
yes, please. Because I think at my office, mostly I do help people with their work when I'm done with my tasks for the day. I do
Okay.
help my madam and then one or two people with whatever they have to do. Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much. Abigail, I mentioned your name. Abigail. Okay, so if Abigail is not responding, Clement. Clement. Clement, what type of performer are you? Okay, so Clement is also absent. I'm taking notes, please. Daniela,
Hello, sir.
Abigail, when I called you, you were
Oh,
silent.
sir. Sir, I wasn't silent. I was trying to connect my Wi-Fi to my iPad and it wasn't coming. The call was on, but it wasn't coming.
So now that I've marked you absent, what should we do?
Sir, please don't mark me absent. I'm always punctual in class. Please.
What kind of performer are you?
Okay, thank you, sir. So, with all what you said and then looking at all the performances you mentioned, I would think with my field, even though I don't work in the office, I have a job, a brand of my own. I'm going to be a citizenship performer because I teach and then I help students when they are not able to do something. And then aside helping them, I correct them in so many ways and I try to maintain peace and harmony. Thank you.
Okay, so Clement is also absent.
Sir, I'm not absent. If you said Clement is also absent, meaning I'm still absent. I'm here, please.
Dorothy Akoban. Okay, so based on what you said, and I don't know why you did not say you are both tax.
Please, Dorothy, I'm here.
Dorothy, you are now
Yes, sir.
calling. You are now responding.
Yes, please.
Okay, you don't worry.
Hello, Clement is back. Oh, Clement is online.
Okay, don't worry. From day one, you are absent on day one, so
Hello, hello, sir.
you just log in and do your own thing. I'm taking notes. Don't worry.
No, sir, please, I'm here. Oh.
So I don't understand why. I don't understand why the who are the first two? Abigail is one and
The Doan.
Joanna, yes. You both said you are citizenship performers. Why didn't you say you are both tax and citizenship performers? Because we have three. So why didn't you say you are both tax and citizenship performers? But you chose only citizenship performance that you are even interpersonal one. Why didn't you
Hello,
add
sir.
tax performance?
Hello,
So
sir.
when you go to the workplace, you don't do your own thing and you help others. Is that so?
Oh, wow, I got that.
I don't know if you understand my question.
Sir, please, yes, we
Okay.
understand you.
Sir,
So
okay. Hello, sir.
go ahead.
So with me, I don't go to the office to do my own thing. I'm always in my own office to teach others. So in that case, I'm a citizenship performer because I help teach students. Yes.
What is your tax? What do you actually do?
I teach because I'm a makeup artist. So I teach students. So I help them to better their work
Okay,
and then
so as you said, it's more or less like a sole proprietorship thing that you do.
yes.
Oh, okay. So in this context, we are looking at it in the context of an organized organization. I hope you understand.
Yes, please.
Okay, Joan, your hand is up.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So I wanted to say that I choose the interpersonal because I feel like helping others is also part of the task. Because I work at the court, and then my madam is in charge for making course lists. And here lies the case that she's busy and she can't make the course list. I also need the course list to work at the court at the at that time. So I'll have to help her do the course list so that I can also use that course list to work. So it's kind of related. That's why I chose the interpersonal than choosing the tax performance. Thank you,
I
sir.
didn't say choose the tax and leave out the citizenship. I
Yes,
expected that you say you are both. You get it?
yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So now let's look at some importance of a good job performance. Some importance of a good job performance. Is someone? Yes, Raymond.
Yeah, okay. Sir, please, I want to get a little clarity on something.
Okay.
Yes, in your submission, when you were teaching, you spoke about I think under the job performance, if I'm getting it right, you spoke about routine and then creative, and then with the tax, and then contextual performance, and then is it counterproductive performance? I'm trying to get a clear cut between these two. When you are asking people about their who they are, as in what kind of performer they are, and we're talking about the contextual, my mind went straight to the routine and then the creative kind of performance. So I don't know if that may be wrong or I'm just getting it wrong.
So the main performance that we are looking for are the main one, the traditional dimensions, three. That's if you are a tax performer, if you are a citizenship performer, or you are a counterproductive performer. That is what we are looking at. So based on the one that you choose, then maybe you can say you are a citizenship performer, but mostly it is the interpersonal one. So you need to show us or tell us why do you think. So in your explanation of why you think you are a citizenship performer, will let us know even whether you are both organizational or interpersonal. We want the main one, not the categories of each dimensions. I hope you are okay.
Yeah, okay, sir.
So we are going to discuss the importance of a good job performance, having understood the overview and the dimensions and the categories. So the first one is that effective job performance is important because it contributes to the long-term success of the organization. Now, who can explain that? Now, once we know the foundation of what job performance is, we should be able to, on our own, understand what we mean by this each importance. So, effective job performance is important because it contributes to the long-term success of an organization. So, anyone to volunteer, you show by hand.
Sir, please, can I get the question again?
Oh, that is what is here on the slide. Importance of good job performance. So we are just going to discuss the importance of good job performance. The first point is that it contributes to the long-term success of an organization. And I want to know how you can explain that. Yes, Clement.
Okay, so what I understand about this point is that in most organization or situations, when an individual perform effectively to to contribute to an organization's success, there's more possibility or opportunity for you to stay longer in the organization, and that is what each and every organization founder will want for his organization, because that is the objective for maybe bringing out something for yourself as an organization or an entity. So being in an organization, your main objective is to contribute something more effectively to the organization. In some point we might find it this way: people get promoted, people get paid well because they produce or they contribute more effective to the organization. And when we get good production from a certain part of the organization, maybe a sub department of the organization, you can realize that that department keep growing because they are being effective production from that department. And in that case, the organization will keep going up and up. That will lead to being a long-term contribution or something. Thank you.
Okay. Please, who again? Job performance contribute to the long-term success of the organization. Who again? So you see, when we began the discussion, we made mention that the employees are the most valuable assets, and therefore they help maintain and sustain competitive advantage. So invariably, that is the same here by saying that when employees perform, when we have good job performance, it contributes to long-term success. Long-term success. So to sustain or to maintain and sustain competitive advantage that we spoke about. So that is one of the benefits or importance to a good job performance. James, your hand is up.
Yes, sir. My understanding is that if an employee work hard effectively in the organization, it will help the organization to grow and also compete in the industry that the organization is in.
Exactly, exactly. So as I was also saying, employee job performance translates to department performance. Department performance translates to the overall organizational performance. So if employees are not performing, it affects their respective department. If departments are also not performing, then the overall organization is also not performing. So that is what we mean by that importance or that point. Now, it can also boost the reputation of the organization in the sight of consumers, shareholders, as well as potential clients. A good job performance can boost reputation of an organization in the sight of consumers, shareholders, and clients, potential clients. James, your hand is still up.
Oh, sir, no, that was the first one, please. I'm now to disconnect.
Yes, you can lower it. So as we were discussing in respect of the counterproductive, for instance, that we said it disreputes the organization. When an organization is performing well or when there is good performance, you realize that it boosts the reputation. It gives the organization a good name, and mostly customers or consumers will still want to patronize you because of how well you perform. Shareholders also are able to gain dividends on their return on investment, the returns on the investment they make. And there's even the possibility of you getting more customers, that is the potential clients. A good job performance can discourage counterproductive behaviors. So when a person performs well, you realize that the person has a very low tendency to become a counterproductive person. So it's more or less like it discourages such behaviors, the counterproductive behaviors. It promotes respect and good organizational culture. And organizational culture has to do with the way of life in that organization, how they do their things. So as they contribute or as they continue to exhibit good behaviors, that is what it is forming. It is forming that good culture in the organization. It enhances unity and promote good work environment, as we saw earlier. It can promote healthy interpersonal skills, good work ethics, and unity among others. So especially when we take the one category of the citizenship performance, which is the interpersonal, where workers therein provide assistance to each other. So it becomes part of them, becomes that healthy interpersonal behaviors that they are exhibiting. So these are some these are some of the importance of employee job performance. Now, at a point in time, there may be some poor performances in organization, and there are some reasons why an organization will perform poorly. And some of the causes of poor performance can be in terms of the caliber of employees who were recruited for the job, who were hired for the job. So as we normally say, putting square peg in round hole. Putting square peg in round hole. The person does not fit the job, but you went ahead to hire the person. So that's one of the causes of poor job performance. Then sometimes employees will perform poorly because of their managers or their bosses. So when a leader or a manager has poor leadership qualities, has poor management qualities, it affects the employee's performance. So sometimes poor employee performance is as a result of the poor performance of the manager or the boss. Then also lack of proper orientation and job description. Whenever a new hiree comes into the organization, the new hiree goes into what we call an initial training. And that initial training is what we call the orientation. And what we do with respect to orientation is to introduce the new hiree into the organization by way of who he or she will work under, the co-workers he's going to work with, restroom. Let the person know the organization very well. What are the things the person will do? So when you provide such orientation to the person, sometimes it uneases the person. When you come to an organization for the first time, sometimes you become nervous. But as you go through orientation process, you can even make new friends, because sometimes through orientation, before you are being placed, you'll be given a mentor who will mentor you for maybe a year to know everything about the organization. So when that happens, it uneases you, and there you can just perform. So orientation is key. So sometimes employees will underperform because of lack of proper orientation given to them. Then job description. Job description. You know, we attain job description by way of analyzing the job. So poorly analyzing the job to come out with the tasks, the responsibilities, the duties, will end up getting a wrong job description. And once the job description is not good, it affects what the person will do. So proper job description can lead to deficient employee behavior. And lastly, we say that communication is the lifeblood of organizations. And as communication is the lifeblood of organizations, it is key among team members between managers themselves and between employees themselves. So when there is no proper communication, also affects the work that they do. So hence, it may lead to poor performance. Then we continue by looking at appraisal, performance management, or any feedback, needed feedback. When you have performed for some time, you need to know how well you are performing. That is why organizations conduct performance appraisal. So when you conduct performance appraisal, that is when you are able to know as a worker that this is how I'm performing. Probably at the beginning of the year, you were part of those who set the standard, or standard was given to you to achieve. Were you able to achieve? So if not, what are some of the things that you must do to improve? But sometimes also, even though we don't appraise them, there are organizations that undertake appraisal. But even after they've appraised the employees, evaluated their performance, they fail to give the feedback to the employees. Let the person know what he or she has done over 3 months or over 6 months or over the whole year. When you fail to give such feedback, the person is not aware of how he or she is performing. So that is why mostly we say it is advisable that even in academics, before they enter into their main exam, they know how far they've gone with their assessment. So you give employees also feedback to know how far they are performing. So those organizations that sometimes evaluate their employees' performance, they don't give feedback. And once you don't give feedback, the person is not aware of whether he or she is doing a good work or not. So it can sometimes affect their performance, future performance. Then also sometimes a worker is not performing because there is inadequate resources. A worker is not performing because there is inadequate resources. Not that the person is skill deficient, but the equipment to work with is not there. So therefore, it affects the person's performance. Then sometimes in HR, we have a model or a paradigm, which we say performance is a function of ability and motivation. So you see performance outside the equation, then you have M times A times O. So M is the motivation, A is the ability, O is the opportunity. Now, sometimes it is not the ability, they have the ability, but you are not motivating them well. So they want to commensurate or be at level with the remuneration you are giving to them. So once you are not remunerating them well, it affects their performance. Sometimes you also give them excessive workloads. So they become exhausted. There is no proper work-life balance. And all this can lead to poor performance. Then some of the counterproductive behaviors that we spoke about, harassment and personality clashes, unresolved disagreements, fights, enmity in the organization, political deviance are all causes of poor job performance. So these are some of the causes of poor performance. And when there is a poor performance in an organization, what are some of the effects? When organizations are not performing well, what are some of the effects? And one of the effects is that it gives extra work to hardworking ones. So especially when you are in group and a group assignment has been given to you, and you leave the group assignment to only few people, it means you have given extra burden. You have given extra burden to those few group members that work hard. So it says that employees may have to take extra work from their saging co-workers or team members. Another effect is that poor performing employees will feel left out because no one will want to work with them. When you see that this person is lazy, sometimes we are sharing groups. You don't want to go into a group with a particular person because such a person is lazy. Even when you are calling for a group meeting, the person will not come. So sometimes such people might think that they are being left out. They are being left out. So that is one of the effects. And another effect is that it can also lead to drop in productivity. Once employees are not performing, it also leads to drop in the productivity of the organization. So that is what it is. And as part of drop in productivity, there is also drop in sales because of poor performance. When there is poor performance, it can also tarnish the image, the reputation. So all the counterproductive behaviors that we spoke about, these are some of the effects that the organization may face. Now, lastly, let's look at how to improve job performance. How can we improve job performance? Just as we saw as part of some of the courses, why they may perform. If an organization wants to improve job performance, then there are some questions they must ask in order to resolve such poor performance. The first thing is that you have to identify the causes or the reason for the poor performance. So, is it that the person does not have the right equipment to use? You need to find out what is the main cause. Now, confront that underperforming employee, or if they are in teams, confront them by way of knowing why they underperformed. Ask their opinion on the situation. Ask their opinion. Sometimes the manager is up somewhere, or is not down with you because you are in direct contact with customers. You know customers' complaints, the issues customers are facing. And because certain things have not been provided to you, that is why you are underperforming. So sometimes your opinion needs to be sought to know what we can do on the situation in order to improve job performance. And always listen to your top performers' concerns and suggestions. Because once a top performer is declining in performance, find out from them what their concerns are and the suggestions they give. We also saw that lack of resources, equipment, is one of the causes. So in order to improve it, provide them, provide training, provide support. Sometimes when you evaluate or when you appraise the employee's performance, you realize that the person is skill deficient. Once the person is skill deficient, what you do is that you offer training to overcome such skill deficiency. So that is one way to improve upon performance. Reward employee performance, as we spoke about the compensation or the remuneration. Sometimes it need not to be in cash or monetary. Sometimes it can be non-monetary or non-financial. There are some people who work just to be recognized. Just a thank you, well done, is enough for them. So these are, and sometimes others, you have to make sure you remunerate them very well by showing what appreciation. Then, as we said, that organization may appraise employees and may not even give them feedback to know how far they've gone with their performance. So one way to improve is that provide feedback. Provide feedback. And I believe as we are looking at this particular course, there is a session where when we are looking at performance appraisal, we see how feedback is being done, the tell and sell, the tell and listen, and problem solving. These are approaches to performance appraisal interviews or discussions. So these are some of the ways that we can improve job performance. So any question up to this point, because for today, I think that is the end of the discussion. Yes. So any question? Any question? Any question? So in summary, okay, I have to know from you. So each of you, before you leave, what is your take? What is your take home with respect to job performance? What is your take home? So Abigail, I can see you first here in that alphabetical order. What is your take home? Abigail. Abigail.
Hello, sir. Sir, please hear me.
Yeah. So what is your take home? Job performance.
Sir, please, good job performance and good job performance and increase productivity. Hello, sir.
That's your take home. Okay.
Good job performance increases productivity.
Okay. Amafila. Who is that? Amafila. Yes, Connie Ama, Daniela, Doreen, Dorothy, Erica Usu, Esther Ado, Esther Cranton.
Say,
Okay, get it.
yeah, I would say that when employees are being recognized for what they are doing, at the end of the day, it's going to motivate them for you to increase productivity.
Yes, Esther Ado.
Okay, so what I want to say is, when the right equipment and relation are provided for workers, they are able to put out their best, and that helps in the growth of the organization.
Okay. Yes, who again? Who again? You have to get through. You have to get through. Okay, Dorothy, go ahead.
So please, I learned that always when there is conflict, you should call the employees and address the issue.
And
also motivate them so that they'll be able to perform well.
okay. Irene.
Sir, I also learned that when there is conducive working environment, it also helps employees to perform well.
Okay. Esther Cranton.
I also learned that we have three kinds of employees performance. That's tax performance behavior, citizenship performance behavior, and counterproductive behavior.
And I believe you know what each of them is. Okay.
Yes, please.
Lydia.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yes. I learned that teamwork affects the overall individual performance of an organization, and it improves its efficiency.
Okay, so this thing you are saying, you are rather inducing or deducing from what we said, because we didn't say something like that, but I'm not saying you are wrong, but it's you deducing from the things that we've said, because teamwork also translates to organizational performance. Yes, Marciana.
Yes, sir.
Wow. You are representing Wow.
Yes, sir. I also learn about the counterproductive performance and how the people behave, which can affect the organization. And when you are also being able to perform a good performance, it can also overtake it and even bring reputation to the organization.
Hey, Marciana, what are you saying?
I'm
Come
talking
again.
about, I learned two things. I
Okay.
said one is about the counterproductive performance.
Okay.
How the people behave bad towards the organization, how they can influence people against the organization or talk about bad things towards people when it's about promotion time. So now I also now talking about the good job performance. And I said, hello, sir. Hello.
Yes. Oh, that is it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So I think basically that is what we discussed today. So if you have any question, you can ask. If not, yes, Dorothy, I can see 3 hands raised.
Yes, please, this is Doreen. Actually, my network is off, so I'm using Dorothy's phone.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, so I wanted to say that as an HR manager, the type of person you employ also counts in the organizational performance, and
Okay.
also the type of training being given to the person during their initial employment.
Okay. Okay. James, I can see your hand.
Yes, sir. So I want to say maybe can span of control be also classified under one of the causes of poor job performance? Because if one employee assigned to two bosses, I think maybe I want to suggest and I want to find out whether you can classify as one of poor job performance.
Okay. So in the wisdom of Henry Fayol, that is what he was saying, that when you have a subordinate having two masters, who should he listen to? One master say do this, the other say don't do it. Don't do it. So what will you do?
Okay.
So once that situation happens, you know it can affect that individual's performance. I hope you understand.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Thank you very much. I understand.
Okay. Evans.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Daniela.
So please, you said, okay, so please, I learned our dimension of job performance, which I learned the tax performance, the citizenship performance, and the adaptive performance.
Okay. So I think we can end here.
Sir.
Yes, Gertrude, Nampa.
Yes, sir. I think I missed my 10.
Okay.
Okay, so I also learned that job performance is all about performing our duties effectively while maintaining good behavior so that an organization can succeed.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Say,
Hello.
Yeah, Mary.
um,
Hello, sir.
Yes, Mary.
Please, this gift. Some of us, our phones went off, so we've been joining others. Please, my humble request is if you could send us your summary, the one you just showed for us.
Don't worry, it is recorded.
If we could get it.
So it is recorded, so you have.
Hello.
Okay, so thank you very much. We meet God willing.
Okay.
We meet God willing next week. Okay, so have a good day and evening.
Okay, sir. Have a good day.
Bye. Hmm.